Everything that's happening to you is a reflection of you. This is very hard for people to accept because they put all of the responsibility outside of themselves. And this has become a society riddled with people that will not take responsibility. They will not take accountability. And this is why it's difficult, oftentimes, to build things with people of today's world. No accountability. Build partnerships, business. No one will take the blame when they've done something wrong. And so how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you won't take the blame when something has been done wrong on your end while you're in the midst of many people, you're definitely not going to take the blame for the way that your life is. We usually point because we're essentially saying we don't have power over our lives. So we're just going to pray to God. We're going to pray to Allah, Buddha, and that's going to be it. I pray God brings me this. Give me $1 million. I pray God brings me this person. You've been praying for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But there's a part of this. Here's the thing. When you pray, part of the prayer equation or the law of attraction, part of that equation is you actually thinking a certain way. You can say what you want, but your thoughts are going to tell on you by the way that your life looks. This is how we know what a person's thinking, by what's happening. You don't need to talk. We can know what you're thinking by what is consistently happening in your life. So here is the kicker. There are no victims. There are only participants. And there are many people that look at themselves as victims. Now you can choose to continue to to live as a victim. You can continue that. Whether it's the government, no matter what it is, you can continue that if that's what you choose. I'm not speaking ill about anybody. I'm simply trying to give you some information that you can use. So you can either be a victim, and if you continue down the victim road, victims always get victimized. Let's not go far. Let's not start thinking, because some people like to jump off the cliff. What about rape? What about this? We're not talking about that. We're talking about everyday life. But even still, your thoughts have something to do with the things that happen to you. The things you continue to keep going through. You're pointing the finger, but the finger should be coming back here. Whether you point it that way, the truth is that it's this way. Because wherever you go, there you are. You're the only participant in every aspect of your life. Whether you live in Georgia, whether you live in Ethiopia, whether you live in Illinois, whether you live in Venezuela, wherever you go, you take yourself, so the same things will happen. And so all of these things are a reflection. They're a reflection of what's going on inside of you. If you play the victim, you will be victimized. If you play the victor, you will be victorious. You will be victorious. And so that's what I'm attempting to get you to see, that it's all a reflection of my internal state. How I'm thinking of things. My life is going how I'm thinking of things. If I want to change that, I've got to think different thoughts. I've got to do different things. And people will not accept this. They don't want to accept this. They want to accept that it's the government's fault. They want to accept that it's their mama's fault, that their daddy wasn't there. These things are not your fault, but your life is still your responsibility. Your life is still your responsibility. So when you understand that, there's no need to complain about your current situation, because your current situation is in your hands. Everything is being reflected. Just as you can look in the mirror and you don't like what you see in the mirror, that's how you can look at your life. If you don't like what you looking at in your life, well, it's got to come from here. Just like the mirror, when you look and you say, my face is breaking out. What's these dark spots? You can change that. And when you change it, the mirror is going to reflect a different face, a more clear, vibrant face. You're eating different, you're resting, you're hydrating. It's going to reflect that. And your life will reflect that as you start to take different steps, starting with your thought processing. This is the entire thing that I want you to understand, so that you move from being a person that's behaving as though all these different things are being inflicted upon them. So now you're just a byproduct of what's happening. Your life is like happenstance. That's how people live. My life is like happenstance. You don't have any power over your life. You're just living. When you take that away, now you take control of your life. Now you understand that your thought processes, your decisions are the reason that your life is where it's at. We are products of our decisions more than our environment, the physical environment. But we're also products of our mental environment. So however my brain is functioning, then I will become a product of that. Whatever I'm thinking is what I'll be doing. And so we would hope that we're putting good things in, that we're thinking good things, so that the reflection can be pleasing to us. But for many people, the reflection is not pleasing. And they will continue with the government, they will continue with this, they will continue with that. They will continue with the food, they will continue with everything but themselves. So it's time to be a victor, not a victim. You will choose. Ultimately, it's up to you to make that decision. I can't do it for you. You look at your life and you see things are going well, I promise you, you'll be able to pinpoint how you've been thinking, the things that you've been doing, because it's just a reflection. There will be times where things will happen to you. Listen closely. There will be times where things happen to you because it's a teachable moment. So there will be, no matter how good and perfect we try to live, everybody will experience adversity. Everybody will experience death or loss or problems in a relationship, financial gains, financial losses. Those are just a part of life. If you're existing on this plane right here, you're going to experience that. But all in all, your overall life, the reflection of it, is all on you. It's on you. And it'll take a while to sink in. Because you're thinking, if I vote for this person's going to change my... Listen, that's all fine and dandy. That matters to a degree, but my life, my specific life, I can't say somebody just living in a certain country that may be, they may not be able to have the freedom. But my life has never been determined by a president or by a mayor. My life is determined by me. Your life is determined by you, even though you may want to believe otherwise. So I'm asking, and I would only ask of you because I know it's in you. I know you have it. So I will ask that you take responsibility, that you take accountability, and you change the thinking. Always focus on things that you want to happen. That is one of the keys to manifestation. Focus on what you want to happen. It doesn't have to be that way now, but you speak it as though it's already done. You have to do that. Speak things as though they're already done. Focus on what you want to happen. What do most people do? They focus on what they don't want to happen, and all of these things that they don't want to happen because the fear is so much more stronger than being courageous. Focusing on what you want to happen. Being scared is for some reason for people they focus on loss more than they do gain. And so your life has no choice but to give you these reflections. Because you're so scared about somebody sticking you up, or somebody doing this when you go here, somebody breaking into your house. What happens? They break in your house. What happens? You lost your relationship. You were scared to lose your relationship. You was wondering, this is too good to be true. That energy is always stronger than, oh man, my woman's doing good, my guy's doing good if you're a woman. Whatever. I'm happy that this is going well. We're going to keep this thing going for another 30 years. Instead of thinking about they cheating and they doing this, the fear is usually stronger. And so it manifests itself. Because why? What you run from, you run to. If you run away from it, you're running to it. You gotta face the challenges, remember? So it'll always be in your life until you face it. Always. Until you face it and overcome it. You were supposed to overcome this at 15, you're still dealing with it at 55. Still doing the same thing, same patterns of behavior. You've got to fix these small quirks, because they end up big. They end up big. So anything that I see in my life, I always look at myself first. You have to always look at yourself before you want to blame anybody else. Even this, and all leaders know this. On a job, on a team, in a household. Look at did I say something wrong? Am I not communicating a certain way? When you experienced the loss, when your team didn't get it done in corporate, when you guys didn't meet the quota, when your children are doing this, when your girl is acting like this, look at yourself. Or you got, look at yourself first. They're responding, they're behaving a certain way because of something that I'm doing. Now I need to figure out what that is. Those are your reflections. Whatever you put into them is what they will produce. Whatever you put into your children is what they will produce. More likely than not. Some people are just born to be who they are. But for the most part, children will return to the teachings. For the most part, how you train your staff is how they're going to perform. For the most part, how you coach your team is how they're going to play, barring you have the decent amount of talent. It's all reflections. You want to ask why people are treating you like that? Look at yourself and study other people. You have to be a sociologist. You have to pay attention to how people behave. You have to pay attention to things. The answers are always in front of you. Always. They're not in a book. A book can help. But the answers, if you keep living, the answers are always in front of you if you pay attention. You will know how to deal with people. You will understand why certain people treat this person that way and why they treat you another way. And then you can make the changes.